they're really well done. They've got lots of great detail for a plastic injection molded figure. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to be having a closer look at this kit here from one of the franchises that I really love. This is the Maschinen Krieger Figure Set A, and this is made by Hasegawa, and they're in 1/20th scale. Now this is Figure Set A. I don't recall anything coming after that. I've never seen a B or a C, but if you do know, please let me know. But it's a great set for accessorizing any of your Ma.K 1/20th scale machinery. Okay, so on the back there's a great photo of all these figures used in dioramas. They're all sitting around a falcon. So one of those anti-gravity flying machines, and you can see there's a pilot, and you've got all the mechanics around working on the machine. Okay, so let's have a closer look from the top. Actually, I should zoom that out a little bit. That's, whoops, the wrong way. Alright, so there's the box art. Let's just get this focused. I think we're good here. Alright, so there's the box art. Quite nicely done, as you expect, because it's all been done by Kow Yokoyama. So this has got the 09 signature, so this is when it first came out, 2009. It's in a very, I guess, not every box comes like this in the beige. It looks like a vintage beige document style paperwork, and then you've got the coloured slashes there in box format. Over this side you've got a little bit of the story about how the universe works and what's actually happened. So the great thing about the story is it's fairly open. It allows you to customize and do different kinds of I guess finishes that you like, and it continues along here. You can see here this is a classic whitewash with it all getting worn off with just the undercoat showing through as well. A bit like a winter camouflage in World War II. So there's a lot of World War II aesthetic involved in a Ma.K. So let's open it up and have a closer look inside. Okay, so we've got bagged parts. There's 3 sprues in there, which include all the bits. You've got a nice set of decals, which some of these are quite large, so you'll be using those on quite a few of your vehicles. And then there's an info card, which comes with quite a few Ma.K type kits, and then the instruction manual. So let's have a closer look at the parts. Okay, let's just pull these out. Alright, so first set of sprue, you've got a greeny grey, almost looks like a German grey finish, plastic with some tooling, and you've got jerry cans. You've got a toolbox. So this one here is a sealed toolbox. There's an open one where you can actually see various parts. You can see attachments for wrenches. Over here you have the individual parts. You've got some plier vices, spanner, various pliers and such, screwdrivers, smaller spanners, and then we've got the caps for the jerry cans, an oiler. So these are very old school, very retro style tools, which is quite interesting with sort of futuristic universe. Here's the handles for the jerry cans, and the jerry cans look very, very World War II German style. Okay, so from there we're going to move on to actual parts for the figurines. Okay, so see here, 20th scale is quite big. Now originally 20th scale F1 figurines from Tamiya were used for creating a lot of the figures used in the artwork. So that is why 1/20th scale was chosen. But here, I mean, these are quite original pieces. And you see here, there's a front half and the rear half of the torso and legs of one of the figures. Actually, let's just grab this, show you which one this one is. Okay, so this one on the end here is this one here. That's your standing pilot. And then if we go over here, let's have a look at 4 injection molded plastic figurines. These are actually very, very good. Okay, so let's see if I can zoom in there a bit and focus it. So there you can see that pilot's face. So his head is in 2 pieces as well. And you see there from the join, there will just be a little bit of putting involved and a little bit of scraping and slight remodeling, but that'll be easily done. Very sharp details on the face, for sure, for a plastic molded figure. Got the hand there, we're just carrying a cup. And then you've got various other parts here too, so just to give you an idea, there's another hand. That's a gloved hand, you can see the wrinkles in the glove. This hand here is grasping onto a spanner. I think that's for one of the girls. And then we start looking at the boots. So you've got an arm section here, got a boot. So you can see how well sculpted they are. Arms. Another boot. Another boot for crouching. Okay, you got the cap there. You can see the just those panel details along the cap as well. There's a stitching detail. Got the back of a torso here, and you can see the elastic on the bottom of that jersey, how nicely sharp that is. There's a front section, and there's a face. Let's just turn around this way. There's a face of one of the mechanics, and then you've got the two halves of his legs, and as he's in the crouching position. Okay, so that's first sprue. And then you've got the second sprue, same size as the first. So there's another two figures here. So this one here is a seated pilot. It could be a pilot. Looks like he's got a pilot's headpiece on. He's got a moustache as well. And then you have your female mechanic here, and she's holding on to this big wrench. Okay, so if I do a bit of zooming in, see if we can see some of the finer details. Alright, so we'll start from the top part. Okay, so this is a seated fellow, and he's having a smoke. So he'll be sitting on one of the jerry cans, or you could even make just a box for him if you want to use two jerry cans at a later stage. There's his face. You see how he's nicely sculpted too. Okay, he's got the big moustache. Got his back. And the front of his torso, you see how he's all scrunched up as he's leaning forward. Back of his head. Okay, so you see how that all joins up to the front. And then you've got his arm there with his big boots. His other arm. And then over here we've got the hands. Actually, is he having a smoke or is he having a drink? I think he's probably holding a cup. Okay, so he's got his hands open wide enough there for a cup. Where's the cup? Not sure. Must have missed it. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Okay, where are we at? Okay, so these are the arms for the female mechanic. See how she's holding a wrench there. There's the face. Long hair. And that's a collar, that's a woolly collar that goes around the guy that's, the pilot that's sitting down. Okay, so there's the full figure there. Okay, so the head's already been molded onto the torso. There's the arm with the wrench, other arm, and that's the back of it. Okay, so that's all of the sprues involved. See on this side how some parts are solid, so the arms are solid, but you can definitely see the hollowed out sections of the bodies. Okay, next up let's have a look at these decals. So decals are very much a collector's item because you can use these on any vehicle. So any Mac collector would normally keep all their decals separate for use on different models, because there's no way you'll use all these on the one model. So you've got some really nice motifs. There's sort of a crazy cat, you've got a witch here, and then you've got these funny, I don't know what they are, funny O's with some sort of graphics in them, like arms and legs. It's like an egg. And then there's various different sizes, and you have some warning, no step caution decals there as well. Okay, so from there you've got the info card. Okay, so the info card, as you can see, it's got the holes there, so it can fit into a specific little binder. Or fit into any binder really, with standard hole sections. And this particular info card is specific for the Figure Set A, as you can see. So it has a description of this particular maintenance company. So that one's called Victory Fox. Second Test Squadron, which is the skull with the crossbones, which are made up of tools. You've got your the witch here. Okay, so that's the 14th AT Regiment. 4th maintenance company, and then there's an 8th maintenance company markings, and then there's a 2nd company. So you can see better with this being so big. So that's an egg there with either a spanner or a big axe with some feet there as well. Okay, which is quite interesting. So they're only in Japanese, but I guess it's a lot easier now. I mean, if you've got Google Translate on your phone, you can use the camera feature, and as you put your phone over this, you'll be able to translate all that in real time. Okay, and from there we've got the manual. Okay, so I've got a manual here. Let me just zoom it out a bit so we can get it all in there. Okay, and we'll just focus it up. I think that's pretty good. There we go. Okay, so as a front, you can see the artwork in black and white. There's the color codes just towards the bottom here. So you've got the codes there for the Mr. color, which is the lacquer Mr. Hobby color. And then the H's are all the aqueous colors, which are the water-based. As you can imagine, that figures will use quite a few different colors. So you've got quite a list there. All right, open it up. You've got the legend of all the parts. So there's the 3 sprues, which we've already seen. And then you're going through all these for the individual building of the figures. So you've got tool assembly across the top there in section 1. Section 2 is figure building. Okay, so these are all the components and the part numbers for the pilot, the standing pilot. You've got the seated pilot, as you can see here as well. There's the color painting charts as well. You've got your maintenance soldier A, which is the female maintenance crew member, just standing there. And then you've got maintenance soldier B, which is the guy that's on his knee and working on parts of the Falke. Down the bottom here, we've got the painting chart for all your various tools. So all the way from the gas torch, ratchet set, toolbox, jerry can, oh, the mug's there somewhere. And then we've got all the little tools there as well. And that ends up with this part here, which just shows you how to use the decals and shows them being actually put onto a Falke, just as an example. So there you go. So that is the Hasegawa 1/20th scale Maschinen Krieger Figure Set A, and this suits any of the 20th scale machinery and Maschinen Krieger models from either Wave or Hasegawa or any other company, because there's many other smaller companies that do resin models as well. So as these figures go, they're really well done. They've got lots of great detail for a plastic injection molded figure. Not quite as good as a resin figure, but then again, these are going to be much, much cheaper. So this is a great set to have.